ILAC, International Laboratory Accreditation Corporation, and IAF. And this year the theme was improving the food safety. As you can see, this is the 12th webinar in series being conducted by Consultant Consortium of Chennai. And I really appreciate the unique way of celebrating the World Accreditation Day by CCC. I also thank Consortium to give me an opportunity to introduce our new division, Quality Council of India. See, this Quality Council of India is having various boards: NABCB, NABL, NABH for hospital accreditation, NABL for laboratory accreditation, NABCB for certification bodies and inspection bodies. We have created a new division under Quality Council of India called Training and Capacity Building Division. And we intend, it's a newly created division, very recently, 2 months back only it has been created. But we are looking forward to expand our training domains to include quality management, food safety, manufacturing, healthcare, IT and all. And I look forward to have the association and close working with consortium of Chennai as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Nambi, for giving me an opportunity to introduce TCB to.
Welcome, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Over to presenter. Thank you, madam. Please take over from here.
So good evening, everybody, and thank you, CCC, for once again giving me an opportunity to speak to a number of participants here. And today we really thought of discussing food safety in the catering industries. Now, just a couple of days ago, we spoke about food safety in hotels, restaurants, and the food safety around street foods. So catering industry is just a little different from the previous one that we spoke about. And in this, there are a little different kind of controls that we really need to figure out. So another thing that we really thought of doing today was, more than having a complete PowerPoint presentation, we would really like to have a discussion. So initially, I'll just take you through the basics, like what we intend and what we really want to see. And then we can actually discuss and we can really address those food safety related issues that really have a big impact as far as the catering sector is concerned. So about us, in fact, by now I think everyone must have already known me, because I think this is the third presentation I'm doing in this series, and we have all been, engaging ourselves with a lot of conversation. So just to give a little background to the people who have come in newly today is, my name is Krishna Datta, and I am into manufacturing of frozen foods. Also, I have a deep passion for manufacturing Indian value-added products, and having a different identifying the various preservation systems for the same. I do a lot of trainings in the food management systems. Basically, I'm also a qualified auditor and a lead tutor for food safety, quality management, environmental management, and occupational health and safety management system. I do a lot of trainings in a country called Papua New Guinea, where I do trainings in RSPO and risk management. By qualification, I'm a microbiologist and have about 20 years experience in the industry, wherein majority of my time has actually been spent in auditing and doing trainings. Sir, can you please introduce yourself, Mr. Appaji Rao?
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. My name is Appaji Rao. I am dairy technologist by qualification, and I'm also a qualified lead auditor in QMS, EMS, OSAS, food safety, and BRC food. So in this field, I have been to auditing because of this qualification. Apart from that, I am a principal consultant registered with NBQT, QCI, and I am a lead trainer for food safety management systems. I have been into industry for 15 years earlier, and after that, I quit industry and I started developing systems for the food industries and other allied industries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So as far as our catering sector is concerned, catering is essentially, for anything wherein there is a requirement, and it is essentially not from a fixed place where it is done. Mostly catering sector is operating out of the places where they offer the service. Very few of them really have maybe a central kitchen from where they operate, but most of them really operate from a different place at different times. So in catering sector, what we did is we are covering the institutional feeding systems which prevail in religious places. You may have heard about feeding institute feeding mass feeding operations in various temples and missionaries across the country. So we are covering that aspect. Then there are religious congregations like these may not be temples or missionaries, but these are the congregations which happen once in a while. For example, the Kumbh Mela. If that's happening, then there is also an institutional feeding setup which is done there to feed the devotees. Then you have institutional feeding in colleges, in schools. Mostly, it could be either through their own canteens, or it could be a separate offering to the students. Then in social functions, of course, when there are weddings or any political rallies or birthday parties, then in those social functions, there is a catering phenomena again coming in place. Then we have catering sector operating out of hospitals, wherein many of the big hospitals have their own catering setup. And most of the times it is possible that they may have their setup in their own premises, or it could be outsourced to somebody who brings in the food on a regular basis. And of course, we will discuss the various concerns around it. And then also catering to the flight kitchens, that is the flight kitchens which serve the inbound and outbound aircrafts, and also the airports. So we have included these areas in the catering sector today. And the reason why we are talking about them is that they form a very important part of our society. Maybe as on today, most of them are not functional except the hospitals. But otherwise, in our social structure, all of them have a place. And that's why food safety around the institutional feeding becomes a very important area, or else it can lead to problems which can happen at a huge level. Like if at all you see there is a food poisoning happening in a religious congregation, it's possible that more than 1,000 to 2,000 people could get affected. So, considering all these areas, we have figured out that food safety in catering sector becomes a very essential part. Now, when we talk about the concerns, we identified that some of them in the catering sector, like the religious places, the schools, colleges, hospitals, flight kitchens, the concerns are manageable and they are managed to a great extent. Can I know a reason why I was saying this, that you can manage them to a great extent? Hello?
Participants can unmute their mic and speak on, please, when the question is asked.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
People can unmute yourself and talk.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, can you please say why are we saying that concerns in these 5 areas is controlled to a great extent? Why do we say that?
The concern is the entire supply chain. They will have to strictly comply with the food safety norms,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them really do a shortcut. It can be very unknown shortcut or a known shortcut. This is the fear in the mind of consumer, and trust level is going down. That is where everybody is saying it can be managed, it is being managed, something like that. What you say, I support in that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because the monitoring system or the compliance monitoring or recording is not there in some of these areas.
Mm-hmm.
That's my feeling.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else anyone would like to say?
Yeah, my name is Shiv Prakash. I would like to speak about this. So, in my
Sure.
opinion, why there is a great control in these institutions is because most of them they serve hot food, or in case of flight kitchens, it's very well managed. They have separate department for quality control and food safety assurance. So that could be the main reason where there is a good control of food safety.
Okay. Anything else you would like to say? This is actually a valid point that mostly here the food is immediately consumed.
One more
Yeah.
thing I would like to add that these institutions get trainings time to time for their staff regarding food safety, hygiene, quality, like in hospitals. And nowadays also the COVID level hospitals, the staff are getting trained regularly and getting visits by food safety department also to maintain that quality.
Okay. That's really good to know. That's good. What else could be the reason that we say that these are the concerns are still managed in these 5 areas? What more could be the reasons?
Ma'am, could it be because the vendors could be in the control of the management? So we have a hold over the people who supply food.
Possible. Yes, possible. Very much. And to a great extent, these 5 areas, there will not be too much of a change with respect to people, with respect to areas, with respect to vendors, because you're offering it at a single place.
Yes, yes.
Yeah? All of you
Yeah.
with me in this? They are at a single place. And, the offering is there continuously. Like as long as the temple is running, they will offer the food to the devotees. The school is running for 8-9 months in a year. They will keep on offering the food. Midday meals. It is going on a regular basis. Right? So they are managed, and as one of our friends said some time back, that there is a lot of compliance related concerns, and they are already in a control of the authorities, wherein there are regular inspections to see whether everything is managed, everything is being followed. Flight kitchens, definitely, because they by virtue of their operations, they really take care of it. Like the controls around food for hot cold management, supply chain, they do it very well because that's a part of their operation. Okay. So when you're actually having food in these 5 places, mostly there will not be a lot of change. Lot of variables are not there, everything is constant over there. Okay. Now what could be the worrying factors here in religious congregations and social functions?
I guess religious congregation is more of, like we are kind of obligated, same with social functions also. So we're not really aware as to who's cooking, and we wouldn't raise it if it's not being prepared or served hygienically.
Okay. So what else could happen here actually? Anybody would like to say what happens here?
So I guess in a religious congregation, it's too rushed and there are too many people. We just want to finish our move. So probably we probably overlook a lot of things, whether it's hygienic or not. So we just want to finish off and move. So we probably don't object.
Okay. What else could be there? Somebody else would also like to contribute?
Ma'am, one main reason could be like there will be a lot of volunteers who are probably not trained or who are not properly on particular task. So there are chances that those unskilled people they have a risk of getting something in the food which is not desired.
Mhm. Okay. So what we are coming to the first thing is that the people who may be volunteering, they may not be sufficiently trained, correct? And once they are not trained, in case of a religious congregation, there are not many checks done because there you need people to serve first. In the lack of vigilance, there is a possibility that lot of things may go unnoticed. So first thing could be like people are not trained. So obviously many of them may actually not follow the hygiene practices as required. They could end up infecting a lot of people if at all they are carriers of certain diseases. Okay, so we have addressed the first part, that's the man. Man could be a big concern here. What else could be a concern? Hello, can I request you to go on mute, please? Can I request you to go on mute, please, whoever it is? Yeah. We addressed the man part of it. Like, yes, training in hygiene practices, training in operations may be lacking when you're looking at religious congregations. What else?
Hello, can I see, madam?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear. Yeah.
Like you said in the earlier 5 instances, the target audience and the places are constant. Here, there is a lot of variance, you know. So we don't know when the religious congregations, they are in open place. The people invited are not known to the, they are not known to the people who are manning there or who are monitoring it, you know. There is nothing like a kind of register or something, you know, in the schools or in the flights. We have a ticket and the number of passengers boarding are known. There is a definite data there, I can say that in a simple manner.
Okay.
Yeah, some others can add it.
Yeah, if there's a lack of this kind of data, like whoever is coming in and whoever is going out, what is the risk there? What could be the risk? Anybody?
Can you say a few words?
Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, the risk is the items are not defined, and the places of production or the kitchens are not being you know, shown or visited or audited.
Correct.
More of trust level. In case of marriages and all, I have seen they call a known catering fellow and they trust him fully. But if something goes wrong, then it is all untraceable.
Okay. So when you're talking about any religious congregation or a social function, something that really goes there is that when you do not know the number of people coming in, there is a possibility that you may run short of food, and in your pursuit to actually cater to everybody, you may take shortcut. I'll give you a small example, okay? And this has happened very recently in a social function, which was actually meant for about 1,000 people. And it was happening in a place which had a very big supermarket on the ground floor. And there was a banquet hall on the second floor where the social function was there. So what happened is, since the entire building was lit up and everything, people did not really realize that it is a very personal function or something. And whoever came to the supermarket, they tried to come to the second floor, and due to lack of security there, people actually barged into the dining room. And once in a dining room, there's a social function like a marriage, it becomes very difficult, especially in the Indian context, to control the crowd. So instead of 1,000, more than 3,000 people were already there. And the scenario there was like there were people around, the workers from the catering side, they were just lifting the food and taking it inside, bringing it out. They were doing a lot of those things. And there was, it was merely a scenario where we knew that they were not trained, because the food was being dropped here and there. Everything was dirtied. And then the food was, hot food was mixed with the cold food. And that food replenishing system was not correct. So if you just happen to stand there and look around, you could actually see 20 things that could be a food safety risk right there. Have any of you faced this? Hello? Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yes,
We are
yes,
waiting for
you are
the
audible.
response from.
Yeah. So has anyone faced a situation like this?
They are using
Hello?
chat
Any?
box. They are using the chat box.
Okay. Perfect.
You can unmute and talk when presenter is asking you to discuss.
In fact, after this slide, I will stop the screen sharing, and maybe you can start the video, most of you. So what we want to do now is actually discuss the concerns and the worrying factors around catering sector. Okay, can we have you unmute yourself and get into the discussion, please?
Participants can
Hello?
unmute yourself.
Yeah, participants, please unmute yourself and you can speak.
I think, madam, this is not going to be now. No more presentation now, right? You are going to be discuss about it, right?
Yeah, we are going to be
Ah.
discussing because
Yeah.
this is more of a discussion area actually.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because food safety, most of you know. Yeah.
Right.
So each of you
Participants,
have to
please request
participate
you
in
to
this.
unmute. You can unmute yourself. Please go ahead.
Yes, Ms. Prashvansa, you want to say something?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Tell me.
Yes, ma'am. In this COVID situation, as of now, I'm from here in Delhi NCR. So as the situation and cases are increasing day by day, I don't think there will be this catering resuming up soon. So.
Yeah, maybe not in the religious places, maybe not in schools, colleges, but definitely there will be catering happening in hospitals.
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Yes,
so, yeah, when we talk about catering happening anywhere, there are food safety risks around it, correct?
Yeah, sure.
So these food safety risks that we are talking about, especially in these places, are very vulnerable because if you talk about hospital, your people are immunocompromised already. And in that, if there is some anomaly with the food which is going to their plate, that could add a lot of problem to their own health. Yeah, anybody would like to speak anything about this?
I guess the hygiene of food handlers is something which is a cause of concern in either a religious congregation or a social catering. So because these caterers may not be trained, they may not be aware of the food safety issues, and so that would be the main cause of concern, I guess. Be it like, washing of the vessels or like, handling food, and they may or may not wear gloves, and personal hygiene will be at risk.
Okay. Something that I always think is by virtue of our culture, we have always been practicing many hygienic stuff from our childhood. Okay.
Yeah.
So that way we are quite safe compared to anybody else.
True.
In
True,
any
ma'am.
other country.
True,
Now,
ma'am.
what has
So true.
happened? What has happened in the current situation is a generation has actually started adopting Western practices, and
Yes.
that's where the whole
Yes.
concern comes in. So,
Exactly.
could we maybe about 10 years back we could have easily said that yes, hygiene was a part of our system. So people were already practicing a lot of stuff like washing their hands and feet before entering the house, before entering the kitchen, before eating the food, all of it. But if you have seen in the last 10 years, a lot of practices have changed. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. True.
So even consider you're at the table to consume the food, and if your hands are dirty, so will it not be a risk?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. True.
Yeah.
True.
So when we talk about religious congregations, when we talk about social functions, a lot of it comes from the consumer not being aware of what hygienic practices are required.
Yes.
And also the people who are organizing the congregation don't know it.
Yes.
Right?
True.
So
True.
they do not make sufficient arrangements. See, they may be knowing that yes, you need to have all this, but they may not make sufficient arrangements due to paucity of place, due to paucity of time, due to paucity
Manpower
of
also.
people.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anything that you want to do, it needs a lot of management. So what we see is that whenever there are these kind of functions or congregations, people do not have a lot of other things to manage the whole event. And
Exactly.
that's why
True.
there's a huge risk. And when you do not use the right kind of people, like, when we
Team
talk about
caterer. Yes.
anything, yeah, the caterer may really hire some people from the nearby locality, some
Labor.
boys and girls he may
Unskilled.
train,
Exactly.
and get them to start serving.
Yes.
When they get them to start serving, these people are not even aware of how to serve. They are not even aware of what practices to follow. They may be given a cap, they may be given some gloves, they may be given a mask, but they do not know what to do with it. That
Yes.
gloves is only getting into the food. It is there is curry dripping all over the place. Their aprons are getting dirty, but they do not know how to manage it because they have not been trained.
Exactly, ma'am, and they don't have protocol set for washing the plates. We would be, if it's disposables, fine, but then if we are using the same plate, we really don't know how they are washing it also. And the women like who are employed, or anyone who's employed for that matter, they may not be following the protocol. So eating in those plates again is a cause of concern.
I was once told by somebody who was in a hotel sector, and they said that whenever they have banquets and there's a huge requirement of cutlery, they do not have the time to really wash the spoons. Okay? And the only thing that we can do is use a tissue paper to wipe off the spoon, because that does not leave any kind of aroma.
Trace of
on the
food
spoon.
particle. Yeah.
There's nothing. Yeah. So imagine that.
Yes,
risk.
true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I know.
and this does not need a lot of food safety related knowledge. This is all very common sense.
Yes.
Okay.
True.
So
True.
whenever I do trainings, or whenever I'm trying to talk to people about awareness related to food safety, I just speak about the basic senses that you need to put in place whenever you're managing anything. So the reason why we really thought that today's session we will not do through PowerPoints is this, because we wanted to ensure that people understand what we are talking about. So that's the reason why I want people to interact. I want you all to come up and speak, all of you who are there. I see that there are 44 participants in this session, but I would really request each one of you to speak, because we want to really know what concerns you when we are talking of catering and how we can address it together.
So in a big setup, we are just so much by the ambience and the cutlery, and we don't really believe that it could be so bad equal to what the street vendor would be doing. So that's how
Maybe
they get away. Exactly.
Could be better
exactly.
Than,
yeah, the kitchen, ma'am, kitchen is the same whether it's a 5-star hotel or any setup for that matter. There's so much chaos everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't think it's any better. Either a roadside vendor or a 5-star hotel. He gets away, this guy can't get away. That's the only thing.
Correct. And what happens is that you can't even hold anybody responsible there. In a religious congregation or a social function.
Yeah, because all are volunteers.
The caterer may just tell you. Exactly.
Yes.
No, even the caterer may tell you that I'm being told to cater to 1,000 people, but there has been a gate crash and 3,000 people have come in and I don't know what to do. So even he is not at fault there, but it's actually the overall management of the event which actually falls apart.
And also probably what happens in these religious gatherings is that it's about faith. We go there with that faith, probably psychologically we save ourselves or what, I don't know. But then we go with that faith that nothing can happen, we are there with purpose, and I'm not sure about this, why we don't fall sick.
How many food poisoning cases have been reported from religious congregations?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, true.
There are many. There are many, because it becomes a hub then, a hotspot from where things can go wrong.
Yeah, but with now so many, yes ma'am, but this BOG has come up now, no? So probably they're all strengthening the food safety in religious congregations. It should be better now, I guess. I don't know how many places have implemented that, so.
it's there in religious places, like wherever there are temples, missions. This Project Bhog has come into implementation. But
Yes,
when we
ma'am.
talk of religious congregations, we are yet to see it. And also, most of the religious places, the implementation is quite good because they make very good documentaries about the food that they serve and the kitchens that they have. So definitely when you see that, you can see a beautiful food safety system in place, which is already inbuilt. So that really gives a lot of confidence. Again,
Yes,
coming
ma'am.
back to something, when you are in a religious place, it's a faith which works a lot on a person's psyche,
Mind. Exactly.
and to add to it, they are really not worried about the quality of the food. Nobody will ever complain about the quality of the food.
Exactly. Because
Yeah,
we have very
but
less time and we have to finish and move from there. So
no,
we
but
probably
it
limit
becomes
eating.
imperative. It becomes imperative for the organizers or the trust to actually take care of the food, because if at all something goes wrong, then it can be a huge problem.
Yes, ma'am. True.
And considering the healthcare systems that we have, there is a stress already on the healthcare system if there is a concern around food safety.
True, ma'am.
So when
True.
we talk of food safety in the catering industries, it is almost similar to what we do in hotels. Like, you have a proper trained manpower, you have proper place with good water supply, proper ventilation, good lighting. Then you have proper raw material supplies from proper vendors. Then you have a proper environment with proper pest sanitation and cleanliness and all that in place. You have proper equipments to manufacture that food that you're going to serve. They all remain the same like hotels and restaurants. The only thing that really matters here is the food which is being served, how soon it is being consumed.
Yes,
And
ma'am. True.
then there are also a number of people who tend to take that food home. We
Yeah.
all do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's be straight about it. We all do it from the temples
Yes.
without
Yes.
knowing for how much time that food is going to remain safe.
Yes. True, ma'am. True.
Yeah. So, these are the basic concerns around food safety when we talk about the catering industry. The catering industry definitely is a very stressed industry because it has the turnaround time there is very, very low. Okay. So
Yes.
you have to serve a lot within a short time. So it becomes a very stress system.
Yes. True.
Okay, can we have questions from the people who are here in this session today?
How we can control, madam?
Yes.
How we can control, because we are talking about all complaints. This will happen: personal hygiene, hand washing, contamination, everything. But what is the solution for this? The solution
So
only speak nowadays,
essentially,
madam.
yeah. See,
Because
the
even
thing is,
see if we conduct mass catering, whatever it is, we can easily go and raise this is not good, that is dirty, and this is, because I'm also part of hotel industry. But see what happened. See even that selecting a pani puri vendor also, for the business business minding, they want money. Money is the first thing. That's only they're thinking. Hygiene also is nowadays is very important role playing hygiene in food industry, everything, because now only people are recognizing hand washing. Before and all hand washing, and I've seen everywhere. Now everywhere, even they're touching the milk packet also, they're washing their hands. Like the condition
so that's
scenarios.
good, right?
Yes, madam. Now I'm very, very impressed. We are happy in that.
It's a boon for the food industry.
Correct. But what happened? We have this for everything, for all the hotel or anything. Some they have to put on some team. Like they have to educate all of them, like basics regarding this. For example, medical fitness also. because people are in
Yeah.
for a street vendor or whoever it is, Reliance supermarket, they're not doing only the particular 5-star hotels or some other this thing only they're doing as per FSSA. They are targeting now. Before and all not like that. And now
Correct.
at least 80-85% it's in the process now. Before whatever it is, but they have to select a competent person, and manpower sourcing is a very important role to play in food industry. For whatever my
That's
experience,
exactly the point.
because
See, when where does it all begin from? It
ma'am,
begins
for
from
example,
actually.
we are selecting approved vendor. We are selecting local meat. We are going for a
Yeah.
vendor audit. We are not seeing the local meat. See, if you take a HACCP checklist or ISO 22 checklist, if you go for audit for raw meat local vendor, no, that checklist should not cover. That checklist talk about all our international standards, and this is temperature to maintain. Only the basics only we are seeing that. Even and all we are putting non-applicable, and we are giving the score because there is no point of this thing and targeting. And we don't know the source where is getting the meat also, because he's telling we are slaughtering from Puliandop, one person will tell, and one person will tell we are slaughtering from Hyderabad, and it's been traveling through train, and this is a source, and because back travel multiply, and after that anyway it's going for a cooking. Cooking is the final process for controlling this, but whatever it happen, it's contamination. This and all have to change. What happened? No,
Can
they
I
have to
ask a
select.
question?
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
You spoke about raw meat, correct? You spoke
Yes.
about microbial proliferation, and then
Yes.
you said that if you're cooking, everything is handled. Does it
Yes.
mean that you allow the raw material, the microbial proliferation to happen?
No, not like that. See, what happened now? We are getting chilled meat means we are seeing the temperature which is below 5 as per FSSA below 5. We are accepting that.
Yeah.
After that only the spot whoever handling the chef, that chef will come for a quality check. After that only it go for a cooking. Directly we are not getting the meat like that. We smell and something
So-
orders, it means immediately it will be rejected.
No. So the point is that whenever you're doing all this, where does your control actually begin?
See, from the vendor they have to take the step, madam. There is no, because whatever, no, because
No.
now they.
Who will take the step? Who will take the step?
Ma'am, actually, I want to add something to this, especially
Yeah.
for this catering system and religious places also. Like FSSAI has an initiative named as OG. So it is
Yes.
to set the protocol and the responsibilities of the stakeholders as well, so that there is no issues or lagging or negligence regarding food safety. With the Langar Bhog also presented there at the religious places. And as far as catering business is concerned, FSSAI has mandated them a license. And there are IEC programs also happening around in districts at local level to educate or communicate with these people, even with the street vendors. So this
See-
should help.
See, for an example, if petty shop, no tea also they're getting FSSAI registration because they're not having any hand wash facility also. They were giving the FSSAI registration certificate, because we are going to see in all tea shop, no, they're lying on certificate, but they're not doing any hand wash. Still, see, even I am also getting a tea from them one day. I'm never going there and stop the bike and
No,
have
no,
the
so
tea.
that's the question now. Okay, that's the question. Okay.
No,
Now
not like that.
consider
No.
we are all food safety practitioners. Okay, I assume we are all food safety practitioners, and when we say that there is somebody who's actually having just a FSSAI registration but does not even have a hand washing facility, he's selling tea and I'm consuming tea from there, then what does it really mean?
Ma'am, see now what happened everywhere this is happening in not only in Chennai. I'm seeing, see, because there is no control at all, ma'am. Some places they are having this, and
No,
if they're
even
saying,
if there is no control, where do you begin from? Where do you begin from? That's my question. See, when we are talking of certain food safety risks around it, if you think that the tea vendor need not wash his hands while serving tea, that's great. It's fine. You think it is not there, right?
see, even
That risk
whenever
does not exist.
when I'm at least we tell
No,
them.
does that risk exist? Let's answer that. Does that risk exist?
Yes, risk, definitely risk is there, because
What
what
could happen
happened?
if he doesn't? What
See,
happens if
is
he
not
doesn't
the same glass
wash
cups.
his hands?
The same glass cups is using the same water for so many people. Definitely be the risk only.
Okay, then the question is, why are you having tea there?
Correct, ma'am. But um,
So the point is that the buck
see,
stops
see,
where we are.
when that's only see now. Whenever I'm going for a tea, also I'll tell that use that give me the paper cup. That's for my safety. I'm telling, and even I'm tell to them also. Please use that at least use a different water for washing and use separate chemical.
But does that solve the problem?
No, ma'am, that not solve the problem. That not because that's because we are not seeing a daily basis. No, whenever we are seeing that time only will tell.
So the whole phenomena is here that whenever we are looking at the catering industry per se, you know, when we are looking at hiring a caterer to do an event for us to manage the food at our event, are we really looking at the credibility of that caterer with respect to the food safety practices that he has? Any of us, are we doing it?
See, we having on a certain checklist, madam. Based on the checklist, we are taking. That's all. A checklist, no, we are given.
Again, that checklist. Now, this checklist thing also is a very interesting one. Can a generic checklist be used across for all the vendors?
No, madam, no.
So, do we care to really
see, dry product is totally different.
Checklist? Exactly. So, are we really doing that?
Hello.
For all the supply, it's not possible.
Hello.
Okay. Agreed. All the suppliers, it may not
perishable,
be possible. Then what will be our basis?
High risk.
What will be our basis of selecting people? Selecting
high risk vendor. We are going for this thing. We are getting a document, everything, and we are keeping ready for high risk vendor like perishable and all. For all the supplier license only we are having and we are checking that. So that's only we are saying that we are not going for the site.
Correct.
Also we are not seeing. You don't know where it's coming from.
Again, yeah. So we really do not know where our food comes from.
Hello.
In case of a religious congregation or in a social function.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Can I add something?
Yeah, please. Can you be a little louder?
Yeah, I was listening to this Mohammed, like the tea, the one who took the tea in the street, you know.
Can you be a little louder?
It is like the experience in the tea stall when we go for a cup of tea in the break, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is becoming unavoidable because I am going for tea and I would like to have it for the purpose of my target or appetite, you can say, or the habit. The only worry factor there is he has no control over that sugar or the tea powder or milk. His control is on the hygiene, basically. And that is where he is lacking, and it is apparent. We are seeing that. Like he said, the washing of the glasses or the cups and all, it is totally unhygienic. Like one suggestion you mentioned, generic format, like that is really required across the country. I think it is required. If somebody is wanting to put up a tea stall, he should have these minimum things like I can give a contrary example that the cigarette people, you know, the ITC or whichever company they are selling, they put a kind of stall there. Although that cigarette is not edible, means it doesn't give any poison or something, it is burnt and smoked. The format of that stall is really wonderful.
No, so that is a separate concern right now. Right now, what we are talking about, when you are selecting your caterer, what is the care you're taking?
The care is really nil there.
Medical is important, ma'am.
It is unavoidable.
No, but that exactly is the point. Can you really ask him for the?
I can
see now. See, ma'am. Nowadays,
no. Can you really ask? Can you really ask your caterer to furnish the medical screening reports of all the people who are going to be there in the event?
It is not happening. We don't know how fit he is medically, where from he has come.
So exactly. So what do you rely on? What do you rely on? You know, there has to be some background check. There has to be some credibility check of a caterer who is actually expected to serve in an event.
Yes. Exactly.
Now, when you talk about food safety around events,
Yes.
it has to begin with what are your basic concerns around it and
Yes.
how are you mitigating them.
Yes.
If
Exactly.
those concerns are not mitigated,
Yes.
you have actually put a lot of people at risk.
Yes. We can simply take the example of Batata Vada in Bombay, Vada Pav system, you know. It is the
No,
process.
that becomes a street food. We are talking about catering right now.
Exactly.
We are talking about catering. We are talking about
Catering, some background check is really important. Absolutely, it is important.
exactly.
The
Yeah.
periodic visits must be there, like that license. These RTO people check, you know, they get the vehicle to their spot and check it in whatever best way they are doing. But here it will be
Correct.
some more concern, you know, because this is directly edible. It is going to hit the target in a much sharper way.
So one very important thing around catering, which should be really considered
Yes.
at all times,
Yes.
is that you should really, take into consideration who are the target audience first, who are going to be there in that event.
Okay.
Okay, and then accordingly really plan the food, because you will need to ensure that the food itself does not pose a risk
Correct.
for the guests or for the devotees or whoever it is. Now, for example, if you're looking at catering around schools, okay, in the school canteens or in the midday meals, the food is always kept very simple so that it does not become a risk for the children. Also, it is seen to it that the food that is served to these children can remain safe for a longer time and it is consumed within that specified time.
Yes.
So if these kind of small things is taken into consideration,
Yes.
we can address a lot of risks easily.
Yes.
The first, we see whenever we are looking at catering, let us really look at the basics. Let's not go into all the checklists which has HACCP and food safety. They are too big. Okay. And if you are really having an event in some rural area where you may not even have an access to a number of things, you are expecting that caterer to meet requirements as laid down in your ISO checklist, they will never do it.
They will never do it.
They will never do it. So you are adding more fuel to fire right now.
4 more minutes, madam.
Yeah, sure. We'll finish soon. If they have no questions, we can always compile and finish. Any questions?
How this enlargement can be done for these caterers, madam? We know there are n number of events happening. First thing is they are not recorded by way of documentation, because yes, there is a marriage, there is a religious function, but it is not notified. It is known to the people who are organizing only. Okay. And the caterers are simply, they are like known and reference people, you know. I asked somebody, who was your caterer, is he good, and like that. So that reference is working. And as you said, the food serving points are to be far more segregated kind of thing, you know.
Okay. So what is your question?
Question is, how do we address this in terms of compliance or in terms of raising the trust level of having food in these religious congregations or functions, apart from
which angle, like which part of the entire event you belong to? You
serving part only.
You are a
service part.
You are a consumer or you are an
I am a consumer.
Organizer.
I am a consumer. And I want to look at the service part as the important aspect, because the process is known, the item is known, the product is known to be safe. I am consuming it within the shelf lifetime or on the spot only. But still I have that 20% hesitation about his serving, you know. I always think, iska haath dhoya tha nahi. I don't know what kind of the glass it has been used, something like that.
So that threat perception will always remain.
Threat perception, yes, you are right.
It will always remain.
Yes.
Correct. In fact, the threat perception may be there even when you are cooking on your own.
Yes, I think it is taken care by the assurance that human body has a immunity. Both the server and the consumer understands it.
No, so you and I may be immune, but there could be around 20% people in that
everybody is not
congregation
immune.
who may not be immune, and they may show some kind of concerns. So having food safety in the catering
Yeah, there may be some allergic
industry itself is a very caterer. That's what I've been trying to say. No, we are not even talking of allergies right now.
Yeah.
We are talking of basic food safety.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to speak again and again is like right from selection of the caterer, we need to actually start taking care and then speak to the caterer, be in communication with him continuously about how is he to manage the whole event,
Maybe
what are his
a visit to his catering
to
establishment is needed.
actually ensure that everything is under control. He must have catered to. That may give you some confidence about how he manages an event.
Exactly.
So whenever you have these kind of features which where there's a lot of variable, like there are not many constants, like variable in manpower, variable in place, variable in equipments, the biggest part that plays a role in having things under control is communication. Be in communication with them at all times to know how is he managing the whole thing. Is he really trying to just add something and make up the volume, which may not be portable, and he will put people at risk. So be in communication, ask him what is he going to do next. So it is important that we have somebody from our end also who is a part of that food safety management with the caterer when you are doing such events.
Okay, madam. Can we close?
Yeah. Any other questions before we close?
Can we have the communication details of the CCI in Chennai on the chat box?
I could not get your question. Can you please speak again?
Can we have the communication details of the CCI at Chennai?
Of the CCC.
CCC, correct. CCC, sorry.
So you want the communication details of CCC?
Correct.
Okay. So yeah, we can furnish them to you.
Yes.
We'll give them.
Yes, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah,
Thank you
we
for a
tried a
wonderful
different format today.
Thank you very much. Well done, madam.
Close interaction with
Yeah, we tried a different format.
Yes, wonderful.
So
wonderful.
let's see if we can do more in these.
Yes.
The
And
informative one,
next
good session,
seminar
madam.
would be on 22/6 Monday, and the title being Food Testing Lab. Presenter is not yet finalized. Anyway, you will be getting the communication from CCC. Once again, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
So next would be on Monday only. Okay, right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Thank you, Apajirav sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.